You will want to stick around. You might ask, why would I want to bother? You want better system performance, right? The razor's edge over someone in a game, or getting those extra minutes back throughout the day and improve your productivity. That's the main reason, right? Yeah, I know a lot of videos out there have guides. Some may have some merit, but a lot don't. But I will explain what I'm doing for each section. Be open-minded though, and don't skip sections in the video unless you've gone through this once. You know who you are, as I've been there looking for a quick fix to a solution, only to get burned because I didn't get the whole story. I was blaming the video or guides, but in fact, I didn't pay attention. I lost my data, I wiped my system, I had to take responsibility, man. With an average of 10% retention on my input lag videos, in other words, 10% of the whole video watched because people skipped sections, I have to call it out. Again, been there, done that, burned several times. With millions of hardware and software configurations in the world today, not everything will work. In fact, only a portion of what I share will see benefit for your system. My guidance and warning for all my latency tutorial related videos are: 1. Anything you do on your PC or network is your choice, your risk, your responsibility. No one is forcing you to do anything. There is no magic fix here. If you don't understand something, write it down or pause the video and come back at a later time. It can be a lot of info to absorb, especially for people who aren't tech savvy. 2. Try one thing at a time. Test it out. Don't use synthetic benchmarks such as Latency Monitor as the gospel. You have to try it in your games, in your apps, to see if there's any difference. If you see a positive result, then try another step. 3. This can be risky and could cause performance issues if you don't know or understand what you're doing. Just because something says, try this, doesn't mean it will work for everyone. If everyone had the same hardware, network router, PC, whatever, etc., it's one thing, but no one does. 4. There will be no timestamps in this video for a while. Why? People skip through the videos and ask questions that I've provided answers to in the video. Please be patient. If people were born with knowing everything, they would do whatever they wanted without hesitation. The fact is, you can only explain something once you've understood with experience in retrospect. I don't know everything and I'm continuously learning to do better. That's what most people do. 5. This does not contain any custom ISOs. This will be based off Windows 10 Home or later. 6. This is not a hardcore TV guide. In other words, shutting down as many services as possible to the brink of breaking Windows. You can watch the video, no problem at all, but do not have the expectation this is that kind of video. The TLDR is watch, listen, take notes, be responsible, and apply what's needed at your own risk. Now that's been explained, let's start. Why would you want to reduce your input lag? Improve performance, less clutter, more responsiveness, less time sinks. Get better, right? Right? Parts 1 and 2 focused on network. But network is critical. If you play online games, if it's lagging, check out parts 1 and 2 in the video description. I will assume you've gone through parts 1 and 2 as I go through part 3. This video is tailored toward Windows 10 2004, but can be adapted to earlier versions of Windows 10. Now, if you're tech savvy, some can be ported all the way back to Windows 2000. Anyway, I digressed. Note, any changes to your system from this point forward will be done at your own risk, so do take cautions, like taking a system backup. I generally recommend dividing one drive into 2 partitions, or 2 drive letters, with 2 separate loads of Windows 10. Let's say one is your normal Windows 10, untweaked for your general apps like Word, Excel, Outlook, etc., especially if your computer is shared with more than one person. The other Windows 10 is where you make your tweaks, specifically for that load. Now let me know in the comments if you want to know how to do this. Let's dive in. Step 1. Operating system. If you are setting up your second partition as a second load of Windows 10 2004 as a clean install, get all the drivers for your PC. This includes video, sound, network card, etc. Whenever you install Windows 10, disconnect the network cable so that you can install the drivers offline. If you don't do this, Windows will install the driver it has in its database. It could be dated or a compatible driver. Compatible drivers may restrict functionality compared to having the driver from the manufacturer. Performance of the driver could also be limited, so keep that in mind. Step 2. An optional piece to update is your motherboard's BIOS with a big asterisk. This is to address performance issues, contains performance improvements, or adding support for your hardware that you already have. But this is very cautious. This is a very risky procedure. With the Ryzen 400 series boards, be extremely cautious when future processors such as Zen 3, aka 4000 series are released. You might not use a Zen 3, but motherboard manufacturers could remove support for your CPU. If this happens, your board will likely brick. It's very important, and actually extremely important, to read the notes from your manufacturer. It's your responsibility and risk if you do not follow and read the instructions they supply. Step 3. SSD and NVMe. It equals significant performance versus mechanical hard drives. SSDs and NVMe drives have significant performance versus old mechanical drives. That is, to boot and launch apps, games when you want to run them. Mechanical hard drives are still good for storage purposes such as videos, pictures, documents, etc. When looking at SSD or NVMe drives, maximum throughput is mainly advertised by manufacturers. There's additional mechanics you need to check though. For example, inputs, outputs per second, or IOPS. The higher the IOPS, the more responsive your drive is. Do your research, don't look at the big numbers only. If you have an Intel CPU based motherboard as of this recording, PCI Express 3.0 NVMe single drives will not reach PCI Express 4.0 throughput speeds. Again, research and plan before buying. So you can check websites like AnonTech, Linus Tech Tips, Gamers Nexus, etc. to see if they can provide any direction or guidance prior to reviewing or even replacing your drive today. Step 4. System Restore Point and Page File. From the desktop, go to the search bar and type Control Panel. Select Control Panel and go to System and Security. Go to System and go to System Protection. If protection is off, it can be enabled. Select your C drive and go to Configure. Turn on System Protection. Set a max usage such as 5%. Click on Apply and click on OK. Now, a System Restore Point can be created. Click on the Create button. In this example, I'll name it Backup. Click on Create. After a couple moments, it will complete the System Restore Point setup. Go to the Advanced tab. In the Performance section, go to Settings. Depending on your system, you may want to minimize graphics for your desktop. To do so, select Adjust for Best Performance. The desktop is going to look pretty bland. Consider turning on the settings, Smooth Edges of screen fonts, Show window contents while dragging, Show thumbnails instead of icons, and optionally use drop shadows for icon labels on desktop to address it. Click on Apply, go to the Advanced tab. In the Virtual Memory section, select Change. If you have less than 16 gigabytes of RAM or memory, consider specifying your RAM as the initial size and double it for your maximum size. For example, if you have 8 gigabytes, set the initial as 8192 megabytes and 16384 as the maximum. Why? Windows will have a starting size to work with, and it will not request more page file space dynamically unless you exceed the initial, which should be rarely. This can reduce microstutters in the event your system needs to assign more disk space to the page file. It's more beneficial if you do not have a solid-state drive. Step 5. Sound latency. Most apps and games today still stick to 16-bit 48,000Hz sound files due to compatibility reasons. However, Windows typically sets the sound to 24-bit 48,000Hz. Due to this, a conversion takes place and can add some latency. To ensure no additional latency takes place, we're going to change the sound settings to 16-bit 48,000Hz. Keep in mind, if you work with sound-related apps, not talking gaming here, but on the productivity and media aspect, you may want to leave this alone. From the Windows search bar, type in Control Panel. Go to Hardware and Sound. Go to Sound. Select your output device. For most people, it will be speakers or headset. Select it and go to Properties. Go to the Advanced tab, change it to 16-bit 48,000Hz DVD quality, hit Apply. If you use an app such as Sound Blaster Connect, consider leaving exclusive mode alone, otherwise you can remove the checkmarks here. And in the Playback tab, consider disabling unused devices. Occasionally, Windows will switch your playback device away from your default to a monitor. Disabling these prevents that from occurring. Step 6. Zero mouse acceleration. I've created a batch file where you can get zero mouse acceleration. This will save people time from going into the mouse settings and making adjustments manually. There are a few things to be aware of before using this file. 1. If you have an app that manages your mouse settings, the app can override the changes from the batch file. 2. This file is specific for 100% display scaling in Windows. If you have different scaling, this will not be ideal for you. 3. This setting will apply for the current logged in user on Windows. If your PC is shared and you need to apply it for other users, simply run the batch file with that signed in user. 4. Don't use this file if you have accessibility options or ease of access center enabled. I'll include the registry file of the default mouse settings. If you need to restore it, you can use it. But if your setup is custom, check your settings and take a backup. Use your phone to take pictures of the mouse settings if necessary. Check the link in the video description for the batch file and default mouse registry file. I'll also include Mark C's site as an alternative for 100% or higher scaling in the video description. Step 7. Game Mode. Beginning with Windows 10 1903, Game Mode has been fixed to prioritize gameplay. If you previously disabled it in one of my guides, and you're using Windows 10 1903 or later, you can enable it. Go to Start, then Settings. Go to Gaming, go to Game Mode, and turn it on. That's it. Step 8. Hardware Accelerated GPU Scheduling. Beginning in Windows 10 2004, you will have access to the Hardware Accelerated GPU Scheduling as long as you have the following. 1. Compatible hardware, and 2. A WDDM 2.7 base driver or later. Recently, Steve from Gamers Nexus posted a video diving into the technical aspects of what this does. The TLDR is that the GPU manages the VRAM and removes the operating system from the equation. It reduces latency. Games, of course, need to take advantage, and it's still early. As of this recording, some users like myself experience lockup and blue screen bugs in Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Fortnite. I'll post the link in the video description if you want to check out Steve's video. To access the setting, right-click on the desktop and go to Display Settings. Scroll down and click on Graphics Settings. If you want to turn on the settings, toggle it from off to on. You'll need to reboot for the setting to take effect. If you do blue screen, check with manufacturers like nvidia or AMD for a driver update which hopefully addresses the bug. Step 9. Disable full screen optimizations. Starting with Windows 10 version 1809, Microsoft decided to make full screen optimizations or FSO the default. FSO encourages the use of borderless windowed full screen. This, however, uses a background feature called Windows Desktop Composition. Although the responsiveness has improved since then, it still creates some display latency issues. For those that say, go back to Windows 1709, I've got some news for you. 1. 1709 is only supported right now for Windows 10 Enterprise users, which will end in September 2020. 2. DirectX 12 Ultimate requires FSO. As new games come out, this will end up being the go-forward platform. 3. nvidia and AMD may not support their next-gen GPUs on Windows 10 1709. Full screen optimizations can be turned off for DirectX 11 base games and older. To do so, in Windows File Explorer, you can make the change with an app. Let's use Fortnite as an example. Right-click on Fortnite, Client, Win64 Shipping, and go to Properties. Go to Compatibility, put a checkmark in Disable Full Screen Optimizations, click Apply, and click on OK. Step 10. Notifications of background apps. Notifications and background apps in Windows can take some resources. You don't know when these processes will run. The notifications can be annoying in games. Consider turning both of these off. Go to Start, then Settings. Go to Privacy. Go to Notifications. In User Notification Access for this device, select Change. Turn it off. Go to Background Apps. In the Let Apps Run in the Background, turn it off. In summary, I want to reiterate and apply what you need. Not everything needs to be applied on your system. For now, I'll be concluding this series. Future videos will have their own tutorials such as responsiveness, maintenance, deploading, BCD edit, if it's still needed, etc. I want to thank you for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Here's a couple videos you might like. Until next time, be well and take care.